Hello, darling. It's Jennifer from the patio. Welcome to another episode of Scraps and Thoughts Thursday. So, today's thought is balance. Sometimes balance isn't about equal parts, it's about knowing when to give and when to rest. So, join me as I craft today and share my thoughts about balance with you. First off, I am working in my tall skinny journal. I don't have a cover. All I've done is it's upside down, put some pages in. So far we have this policy closure with 2 tags, and then we put this really pretty pocket in the back with an envelope with a very tall tag. We did a little bit of stamping on there, and I just love this back picture. And hopefully you can see everything with everything being tall now. I may have to keep raising my camera up. So I'm putting another page in today that has to do with balance. We are going to make this pretty little gem. Now remember, this is a challenge just for myself, but you're more than welcome to, craft along with me and experience the same thing. But what I'm doing is I'm giving myself only the ability to use book pages, whether that's dictionary pages, music, book pages, from a gardening book, from an art book, whatever it may be, but it has to come from a book. And let me tell you, it's a little bit challenging because I even pulled some stickers out and I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do that. I really need to look and see about cutting out a flower or something like that, having a fussy cut. So anyway, we are going to make this today. So my inspiration is this ribbon. And I just love it. I love the colors. I love everything about it. Now remember, this is going to be a very eclectic journal. And I love that style. We talked about small joys, and I think sometimes we think, oh my gosh, I have to have all the papers and all the things to make a journal just beautiful and extravagant, but you don't. It's just the ordinary everyday things that make a journal extravagant, and so, or extraordinary, not necessarily extravagant. So that's what we're going to do. We're just making a plain simple tall skinny journal. This is my inspiration. And I want my pockets to be more like a coin envelope pocket. This reminded me of when my husband and I go on a trip, and our room keys come in a pocket very similar to this. And so I made a prototype, and I thought, this is kind of what I want it to look like. However, I picked sheet music instead of book page. And so I was looking for specifically, I really want it to be busy. And I'm going to fold it. So it's going to go like this. And this one is going to fold this way. And then we'll give ourselves a gusset on the side to fold in so that it won't impede our tag that we put inside. So that's what we're going to do first. So this particular pocket is 2 3/4 by 4. So it's 2 3/4 by 4. So let me just write that down. So this is the pocket. It's 2 3/4 by 4. Now remember, that's your finished pocket. So we are going to use this as our main, the longer piece. So it really needs to be 8. Okay. And then this, once you fold it in, needs to be 2 3/4. So if you add a quarter to each side, it's going to end up being 3 1/4 by 8. I hope that makes sense, but we are making a coin envelope pocket. So that's what you're going to need. So I was looking at this music paper, and I love the contrast in this with the black and the white. And it reminded me of balance because, sometimes, that's the whole fun of it, is that balance can be, using materials that are light versus dark. You could use something smooth versus textured just to show some balance. And so that's what I wanted to do with this, since our little thought today is about balance. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I think I already marked it here, but I need, yes, I did. Okay, so I need 3 1/4 this way. That one's, yeah, 3 1/4. And then I need it to be 8. And I need 3 of them because I'm going to do 3 pockets, which is another thing that has to do with balance, because sometimes we think we have to have equal parts. But in art, one thing that we love is they say to always do things in odd numbers, 3, 5, 7, something like that. You don't want 2 dots. You want maybe 2 here and 1 over here. You always want to do things that are not balanced, but yet it brings balance to your page. Okay, so we're going to cut this, and let me do this one little mark first. I like the pocket look. So we're going for 3 1/4. So let me see where we are on this. So there's 3 1/4. We're just going to cut that little piece off. Now what I wanted my pocket to look like is I wanted all of the text to be like this. So when you turn it over, you see this, it's going the same way as the page. So that's why I did it that way. I really kind of wanted this side, but I don't want this over here, and my pockets are actually going to go this way. So we're good. We are good. So I need it to be 8. So I think I want to cut this end off. I want to get rid of those little things. I'm going to give myself a little bit of room. So how is everybody doing today? I hope you're doing good. I do. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're happy and healthy. I hope things are going well for you in your life. And if they are not, I'm sorry. I hope that things get better for you. I'm going to keep this little piece and this one because I just think sometimes they make really good decorations. Okay, so there's one. So let me go ahead and cut the rest of them out because there's no reason to, for me just to, I need to do all the cutting first. Okay, so I am going to center this. I'm centering this with the music note. And then I'm going to pull it about there. I don't have to be exact, but I don't want to, I need the music to kind of be in the middle. Oh, wrong way. Wait, do I want this one? That was the top. Yeah, so that's right. Okay, so I need it to be 3 1/4. 3 1/4. Hold that down. Got me a little sliver there. And then I'm going to cut this off. Keep it because those are cool. I like them. And then I'm going to mark this on the 8. Cut that little piece off. Okay, so let me just, while I'm doing this, I'll talk to you about balance. I tell you, sometimes in life, it's a little difficult to balance yourself, especially when you have a lot of things going on, And so, just like recently, I have a new grandbaby, and I love that, but it requires me to get balance in my life. And, my daughter came over on Friday and brought the little, and we had a great time. And I had to say to myself, all this other stuff doesn't matter. I can just let it go for the day. And she was here the whole day. And I think for a good 3 hours, I held him, I fed him, I held him, I walked around with him, I showed him my garden. I mean, he doesn't know, but you know, I showed him my garden. We're doing 3 1/4, so I'm just going to bring that over to there. And, you know, sometimes we can just get so, you know, bogged down with the chaos and the craziness. And then we think, oh, you know, I've got to balance that with nothingness or air, you know, just empty silence or whatever. And sometimes it's not like that. You know, sometimes what you need to do is you just need to balance with every breath. You know, every breath can be a time for you, every time you breathe in, to just get yourself in a place of rest and restoration. Because, you know, in this world, sometimes, you know, we don't always have the ability to completely rest. Especially if you have a family. I mean, I remember when my girls were little. Okay, so this is what we have. So they are all the same size. So, excuse me. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get out my scoreboard. And I'm going to take them, well, for one, I'm going to fold them in half. And that's going to give us our 4. And then I'm just going to put this on at the 4. Well, this isn't 4, but I'm going to put this on the 3 1/4. And then I'm just going to score in 1/4 inch. And I'm going to hold it down because this seems to, and then I'm just going to flip it over. And I'm going to do the same on that one. And if you want to reinforce on the other side, you can. Because one's going to go one way and one will go the other. But at least you know you're getting a good mark in there. So you're going to score. Excuse me. Let me take a little drink real quick. It's a beautiful day. We went to a soccer game for one of my other littles this morning. So it was nice. Okay, I am just going to ink this so that you can kind of see where everything is. But because we are about to cut some things. And I like this side. So I'm folding up that 1/4 inch, this little gusset that we have. Because that is going to allow see, I do not like this thing. Let me get this going where it needs to go. Okay, there you go. It's like once I need these to be even. And it's like when I get to there, it kind of pushes up. Okay. And then this side is going to come in. And I push that out. I'm trying to get them even. Okay, so now that we have that, let me just ink down. And then that way, I'm sure you've made one of these before, but I'll go ahead and do that just so you know what I'm doing. Okay, so if I want it to fold this way and all of my text is, you know, going in the right direction, then I'm going to open it up and I'm going to remove the 2 outside bottom little slivers. Okay, so this is the part that I want to show, and I'm just going to cut this one off and this one off on the bottom. And then that way we're going to get a good fold, and it's not going to be in our way at all. And you want to go inside the line, just so when you flip it up, you have a little bit of room. And then you're just going to miter that in so that you get like a little, you know, you get that little extra. I'm going to turn it over because I can see it this way, but the other way is I can't see it. So you're just going to go up to that mark, and then you're just going to come in from the side. So now what you have, this will fold up and these will fold in, and then you're going to put it on your page just like this. Okay, so let's do that, and then that way we'll do everything all the same. And then, you know, we'll just do all the things that we have to do to it. Okay, we're going to fold it in half. We're going to score it down. And because, see, this won't fit on my scoreboard, but I think I am going to use my big one. And the reason is I've found with this smaller score thing, when I use this, it doesn't make a really good crease. And I'm about a good crease. So I'm going to put it on the long edge, and then I'm going to come in, and I'm going to do it at 3. Turn it around, and do it at 3. This I have to be careful with because it can go through. Okay, there's 1. Let's see. We're going to do it on the 3. And I'm making sure that I'm against this more so than I am up at the top, because that is the even part. See, I kind of went in a little bit. Okay, so there are those. So let me put this up and this up. But anyway, I remember being a mom when my kids were little. And I mean, it, you know, even now as I'm older, this, you know, you with your spouse or whatever, it's just like, just trying to find balance in life. Okay, this is the one that I want. So I'm going to cut these 2 bottom ones off. So I just turn it and then I just hold the one that I'm going to cut. I go inside the line so that I don't have it impede. Snip that off. Cut the other side. I can see it. You probably cannot. And then snip that one off. And if you make it a little bit smaller, it's okay, because you just want to make sure your card goes in. I am going to miter the edges at the top, just so when I fold it, you cannot see the paper. So there's that one. And then this one, let me go ahead and do this as well. That just helps. Okay. But anyway, I remember, you know, being a young mom and just, you know, struggling with the routine and trying to make sure that I have balance and am I doing everything correctly? Oh, I'm so tired. And, you know, it makes me think about my daughter and just this new stage of life and sometimes how difficult it is, you know. And it does require, and I think life in general requires us to reset quite a bit. I am, and I know you probably wouldn't agree, but I am an introvert. I'm an extroverted introvert. That's what I've been, you know, I say diagnosed, but I mean, that is, you know, what I identify as is an extroverted introvert. I love people. However, I require at times to have to recharge. And so I get overwhelmed with people and crowds, and it just kind of takes my energy, and I have to go out and away and re-energize myself, and then I can come back and I'm all great again. So anyway, I understand balance because, you know, I need to be out in the world and, you know, associate, but at the same time, I need quiet and peace and rest. And so, and I find that I do meditation, and it's not like the that kind of meditation. It's more about just centering my mind and just letting go of thoughts and allowing myself to breathe and to rest. That's why I go walking every day, because we all know walking doesn't help you lose weight. I mean, it can. It definitely doesn't tone you, but, you know, you can lose weight if you add it with something else. But I go because I love the park. I love to be out in nature. I like to say hi to people. There are a few people on the trail that that I visit with for just short minute or whatever. But it's more about just getting out so that I can reset myself, so that I can breathe again, and then I can think about the next step. And so it's kind of like my deep breath for the day. And that's what we do. That's what balance is. It's, you know, finding that small space between breaths, between each deep breath into the next one. And so, you know, that's the thing that I love about journaling, is that allows me to do the same thing too. Okay, so let me look at this real quick, because we don't want to, you know, I don't want to just talk the whole time. I do want to ink, so I'm going to just, let me glue this and then we'll ink. So basically all we're going to do is we're just going to glue the sides down to the back. So, and it doesn't require a whole lot, so you don't want to get too much glue. So we have mitered the top and the bottom, so when it folds, you're not going to see that. And then when you put your card in, see, that looks like it. No, it doesn't. Okay, so there's one. And then this is the second one. I really love this particular element in a journal because there's 3 of them. I like to do things in 3s. And to me, it brings an aesthetic balance opposed to, you know, oh, I have the same amount. It just is the aesthetics of it. It just makes it look whole and complete. Okay, that one looks like it's a little cattywankle, but guess what? It is going to serve the purpose. Oops. Well, obviously it may not serve the purpose. There we go. You're not going to see that anyway, so I just want to make sure. Okay, now after this, now what I want to do is I just want to ink the edges on the side that you're going to see. So it's going to be on the side that does not have the flaps. And that's all you have to ink, is that. And then we're going to put a little tab mark or a little indent, punch, if you will. But let's get this done. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to get my punch out, and I'm just going to punch the top. 1. 2. 3. Okay, now let me just finish this. But I find more and more that we need to take a break and allow ourselves to reset and to just get back into alignment. I don't know what it is, but I see more people stressed out now, and they have anxiety, and you know, and I do have a little bit of anxiety, and I think it, you know, it comes in waves. You know, I'm postmenopausal, but not very far behind, you know, behind it. And that's not an excuse, because I never want that to be an excuse for bad behavior or anything else, you know, especially for myself. However, you know, I just find that there are more people just stressed out, you know. And so finding balance in your life is just so important. And I went to a party the other day, and there was a young girl there. She's probably 18. She said that she had a just a full-blown panic attack while she was driving, and I felt really bad for her. And she was having an anxiety attack right there at the party because there's so many people. And so I said, do you meditate? And she goes, no, but if it might help. And I said, actually, I think it will. I think it would help. So I am a friend of hers. So I thought, I'm going to get with her and maybe give her some tools to help her overcome that and balance herself with a little bit of meditation, because it really does help. It allows you to just let go of whatever it is that's, binding you or holding you. And so anyway, I just noticed that. And so balance was a really big one for me for one of the thoughts, because I thought, you know what, I'm telling you, this world is just crazy. I mean, it really is. And it just makes me wonder, is it going to get way worse than what it is right now? And so do we have the tools that we need to help us get through? And some of us do, but not everybody. So I'm curious, what do you do when you know that you're out of balance and that you need to reset yourself? What do you do? What are some things that help you get back your peace? Do you take a break instead of pushing through exhaustion? I mean, for me, I will tell you that I've started this new program for myself, only for me. It's just me doing 30-minute increments. I'll work for 30 minutes. I'll go do something else for 30 minutes. I'll sit for 30 minutes. I'll work for 30 minutes. I'll go, I'll do whatever. It's like I'll go clean a bathroom, but just for 30 minutes. I set my timer. I don't try to overdo it or underdo it or whatever. I just do 30 minutes, and then I go and I move on to something else. Then I'll craft, because I find I could sit here all day long, and I don't need to, because I craft and I have fun and I enjoy it, but there are other things that need to take place. Spending time with my family and all of that, and it's like, and then I can get overwhelmed, and I don't need that. So I just have to adjust my priorities, and that really is what it is. I mean, if you're still working, you'd have to adjust your priorities for work. I have to adjust mine with work, family, hobbies. And sometimes we can just be pulled in all kinds of different directions, and we need to find just a break. That's why I only walk for 24 minutes. It's like a mile, 1.16. I do the same route every time I go. It's the same one. I don't listen to anything. It's just 24 minutes of just the birds and the environment and what I'm in, just to reset, just to bring myself back to a quiet place, if you will. And I personally, I choose quiet over busyness. When my mind feels full, I'm like, I'm going for quiet. I'm going for peace of mind. So tell me in the comments, like, what do you do that helps you overcome and get yourself back into a place of rest? I'd like to know. Okay, so this is going to be our background. And the other one, it was like one went like this on top, and then the other ones went like this. And I kind of like that look. So these are more busy than this. So I think I'll put that one in the middle and then these on top. Okay, and I'm going to pull this one down to where I want it. I want it to stick out at the top. I'm not going to do this one because once it's done, I'll cut it. So I'm going to glue this down first. So I'm going to pick the center of my journal. Let's move it like this. And I'm going to say, let me count in. I think it's that one. Let me count to there. Okay. Let me get my hand and point it in the right direction. Okay, so I'm just going to glue that down. I'm going to glue that baby down. Yes, I am. I am so ready for fall. We had just a taste of some weather. It was in the like 72 in the mornings for a while, and I was just loving going out in the mornings and having coffee on the patio and it not being, and mosquitoes. Oh my goodness, those things need to go. Go. But you guys, I've got to tell you, I have the most beautiful tree in the backyard, and I don't know if I told you about it or not, but I'm going to tell you. Okay, right there. Let me line that up just a little bit better. Is that lined up better? Let me turn it and see. Check it for poison. Okay, yes, that looks good. And it's gonna, you have to make sure that glue gets down there, because this thing is a gator mouth already. It sure is. And I may have to change that out because it is kind of, yeah, there it is. It is kind of bulky. And actually, I think I'm going to take it out while I'm doing everything. And that one's fine in there because that goes underneath the belly band. Okay. Anyway, I have the most beautiful tree. And I don't know, did I tell you guys about how I went and stood underneath it? I'm looking for there it is. And I could just hear 1,000 bees buzzing. I'm gonna put a picture in here, okay? And every year it has these beautiful, brilliant yellow flower buds on it, and they're just all over and clustered. And in the middle of each one of them is a beautiful red, raspberry red dot. And all of those turn into a pod that's about this big. And it's waxy and pink, like different shades of pink. And it's full of pods. It is the most amazing tree. And I'll put the name of the tree, what the name is. And I always forget and I always have to look it up. But it is so gorgeous. But anyway, the other day I went outside and I was, I need a little peace. I walk out in my backyard barefooted in the grass. I'm a grounder. I like to ground just to feel, Mother Nature under my feet. And I love to listen to the birds and, see the squirrels and all that. So anyway, I was walking out there and I just went underneath the tree because I have a swing or a swinging bench back there. And all of a sudden I heard this sound and it was like, but it was so intense. And I went, oh my goodness, what is that? Do we have a beehive? And then I remembered and I stepped back and sure enough, all of those buds all the way all over the tree, just hundreds and hundreds of bees everywhere. And it was this most beautiful sound. It was just like, and I thought, gosh, that is just so, so beautiful. But it's those kind of things that reset us that are just amazing. And I don't know what you have at your house or, what you have around you, but nature has a way of doing that. Just bringing us, I think I am going to go ahead and cut this. Okay, let's see. This is that. So it's really right here. So I'm going to fold that in half. And then I'm going to cut that up. All you have to do is fold it in half and then you cut up. And there. Good. And then they're going to be hanging off the edge. Okay, so I'm going to glue this little baby down. Yes, I am. So I'm using Fabri-Tac for that. Let me put my pen back in here. And then I can't wait to show you what kind of paper I'm going to put on here. Now, I know we've had this discussion about books, and if you watched my video Monday, you know how I feel about books and, you know, using them to make beautiful things and not feeling guilty or bad about it. And, you know, I'm not telling you what to do, but I am saying that you just have to really think about it, you know, that it's like, I heard somebody say that, you know, everything. Oh, well, you know what it was? It was a hoarder guy. He was cleaning somebody's house out. And they said a lot of times we will hold on to things because we think, oh, I'm going to have a garage sale. I can make money off that. Or, oh, it has sentimental value. And he is right in some ways. But he said at the end of the day, everything is going in the landfill. At some point, everything will go in the landfill. And I thought, you know what? That is so true. And it, you know, we shouldn't feel guilty about, say shouldn't, but, you know, we ought not feel guilty about, you know, tearing books up, you know, and making something beautiful out of them that may last even longer than what the book might have lasted. Okay, so I'm going to put this straight down the middle. I'm going to stand up so that I can make sure. Oop, I put it on the ends, but that's okay. I have some of that dusty stuff. Okay, so there's that. That's going to be, I love these colors. Love, love, love this lime green. Love the pink. Love the darker pink. Okay, so there we go. And I'm going to let that kind of dry. I do have some of that powder stuff that I can use to, I was looking for it. Where is that powder stuff? I know it's around here. Okay, so there's that, and then we're going to put these on top. So let's do that. So I'm going to use Fabri-Tac just because there is material there, and so it'll just help it stick to it, and it's not going to hurt anything. Okay. Let's do the bottom one first. I'm just going to do it a little bit. I need to make sure that I'm here more than there. Okay. And you could do it the opposite, where you have this all the way on the top of all of them, or you could have this, you know, on the top and underneath. This one, I've done it all kinds of ways, but so it's just whatever you want to do. You make that journal yours. I'm just giving you some ideas to put in your journal, especially your tall journal, because sometimes, you know, like I said, it's, you know, you have to come up with different things to put in your journal because it's tall and skinny. It's not like a 9x6. Okay, so I think I'm going to do it here. Maybe a little bit up. Okay. Okay. And I kind of need to let that kind of grab, you know, for a second. So I'm going to show you what we're going to put, what we're going to do next. But so what you're going to need now is you need to have 3 tags. So I went ahead and cut these just so the video wouldn't be too long. And they're going to go in like this, and it's going to leave just enough that we can put a little hole there and then have a pull out. Okay, so these little tags need to be, and I'll write it on this one. These little tags, these are cards, are going to need to be 2.5 by 4. Okay, and you need 3 of them. So it's going to be 2.5 by 4. The pocket is 3 1/4 by 8, and the card is 2.5 by 4. Okay, you got that? Okay. And then whatever size ribbon. And, you know, even in this other one, like this is a thick ribbon, and this one's a thin ribbon. And it's just however you want to put it in. I didn't let it hang over, you know. So, and this pocket is just paper, and then I just glued it down. But it made it to where the cards kind of, so that's why I wanted to do a pocket like this on this particular one. So here are our little, I'm going to just open this up and set that aside so that can all dry and we can work on our pockets. Now, one thing I did want to do is one of these, I'm trying to use scraps, but I guess I must have gotten, no, here it is. It has like a little bend in it because it had a fold. And so I'm going to make tags out of these. So I just want to make sure that this part is on the back. And this is going to be covered and then, or this is going to be covered and this won't. So let me erase this line. Okay, so those are our cards. So let me show you what I'm going to use. I have this beautiful book. Yes, I got it at Goodwill. And it is called A Diary of a Rose Lover. And it reminds me of Edith Holden. I mean, look at this. Even the text is just, the way he writes in cursive is beautiful. Look at that. Is that gorgeous or what? So anywho, these kind of books, just, you know, when you see something like this, pick it up, look through it. It's, you know, watercolor. So take the time to really look. But there was a page in here. I really love this one too. And I thought, ooh, I could do the 3 tags, but that kind of doesn't go. So look at those. Oh, they're just gorgeous. Anyway, I found a spread in here that I thought, this too, because I love this color, this lime green. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And so I went ahead and, well, I think I did it for another one, but I'm going to have to take those marks off because those don't work for me anymore. Or I could use, no, I don't like that side. Okay, let me take these marks off. Or I could just use that for the same one that I was, but anyway. Let me just take those off. Hopefully it won't run the page where you're going to be able to see it. I had it marked and I was going to use some different cards, but I really want to use it for this because I think it just goes with that ribbon. Okay, let me show you. Look at that, doesn't it? I mean, perfect. Every one of the colors matches. So what I'm going to do is, and I don't know if you've ever, you know, taken book pages out, but look for the seam. There's a seam. This one has, it's just like what we do for junk journaling. They have signatures. And then inside, say that it'll have a seam like that, where they've sewn it in. Each of the signatures are sewn in. And so I just cut them out at the seam. So I get my little tools. I use the same ones every time. This has like a little hook on it. And so I'll just hook it, pull it up, and then cut. And then that way I don't run any of the page. So in case I want to use the whole thing, then I can use the whole thing. So, but look at that text. Isn't that gorgeous too? And this one would go perfect as well. Those colors are just magnificent. So anyway, look at that. I mean, you just can't beat books. I mean, this is just so much better. Even than having digital sometimes. You can fussy cut and pull them out. Now, you know, the last page of the signatures, they always glue in. So you kind of have to pull a little bit harder on those. I even thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this one big card. It's called the Lavender Dream. And that's what we're going to be doing with this picture. It's called the Lavender Dream. Okay, so what we need to do is our cards are going to be 2.5 by 4, and I believe I'm going to be able to get exactly 3 cards across out of this. Now, depending on how I want to do it. So I'm just going to cut it here, and we will figure out how we want them to go. I'm just going to pull this through. Give myself a little bit of room. Okay, and I'll save that one for another day for sure. Okay, I think I really want this. So we want them to be 2.5. And I kind of like a little bit of white space. I think that's perfect right there. So 2.5. Let's look at this. And look, I can get that lavender dream in there. Yes. Okay, so let me cut that, and that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to have it right at the bottom because I kind of like that too. Okay, there's one. Let's see. I definitely want this. Hubby came home to take the dogs to the recycle place, so he was trying to coerce one of the dogs to go. So I had to stop it so he could say, come on, let's go for a ride. They're going to go to the recycle. Okay, so 2.5. I think that looks good. And 4. So I'm going to bring it to about there. I might do it to there. Okay. Hope I'm in frame. Apologize if I'm not. Okay, so there's the 4 on that one. And then this is going to be 4. That's perfect. I wanted to make sure I got that bud because I just think it's so pretty. And you know what? I kind of love this text, but it's just not going to make... I just cut it shorter than what it was. But that's okay. I'll use it for something else. I'm going to keep this number too. I like that. Okay, so I need 2.5. I like that. So let me see what that gives me. 2.5. I'm going to do this way. 2.5. Whatever's left, I can use for a belly band of some sort. You know? How cool is that? Okay, and then I need 4. And I want all the flowers and some of the text. Pull it down. Okay. And then we need to bring it to 4 and cut. That is wonderful. Okay, so there's that. Let me put those there. So these are going to be for my cards that we pull out, okay? So I'm going to have to attach those to those, and those are going to be the ones that we pull out. Now what I need is something to decorate the top. And so I was thinking, some of these are just gorgeous. And I just need something. Remember, our pockets are, let me see, this is about, that's 2. So we need like 2.5 to 2. And you can just take this and then just cut it up, you know, a little strip and then one on the next and one on the next. And it can just be, you know, but we also, I just need something to go there, there, and there. And I was going to use stickers, but then I thought, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. So let me see how tall this is. Let me see how tall this one is too, because this might be pretty. If we take it all the way down here, that is 7. So 2.5, 2, 4, 6, 7.5. We could do this, 7.5. And they are 3 1/4. I kind of need it to be all one, like level. like this. See how it's all the same? So if I cut it off at a certain point, you're still going to see this. Let's see, 3 3/4. I could do 3 1/2 and just save the little boy. I'm going to do it. Gosh, I hate to lose that. But these just go better. Let me see what else I have. I know there were some other ones that... Ooh, that's pretty. This would be pretty. But... And so would these. These would be pretty too. Okay, I'm just going to do it. I know I'm losing that other part, but that's okay. It's okay. You can't have it all. Okay, so I'm going to do 3 3. I'm going to do 3 1/2. Let me see where that... And I'm going to save that little boy's hand. Yay, I saved his hand. Wonderful. Okay, so now what we need is... It is... What did I say? 3 inches? Let me measure it. 2 3/4. I'm going to do 2 1/2. Let me see. Yeah, because it was 7 1/2, right? So I'm going to do 2 1/2 from the bottom. So that's just, we're just going to go all the way up, 2 1/2, and just see what we get. And then I'll cut out or do whatever. 2 1/2. That was perfect. And it'll be like a little progression. So this will go here, this will go here, and this will go here. And if I lay them well enough, you'll be able to tell that it is a page. What do you think? I like it. And then we'll have the cards that pull out on the side. Okay, so I can't leave them like this without rounding the corners. I know it's pointed right there, but I don't know. Let's just do the smallest. Let's see what that does. I don't think that'll hurt. Do you? Just the smallest? Okay, there's that one. And then I bang it because I feel like they get stuck in there sometimes, and sometimes they don't, and I'm just banging it for no reason. Because that's just what I do. I just do that. I know it's silly. Okay. Let's just get those down there. I like it. I do. Where is my claw? Let me put her there. And that goes there. And then I'm going to ink the edges, okay? So what's one more thing? Let's see, another little life lesson, or maybe an example for our balance thought. How about maybe shifting your focus when life tilts? You know, when it's just too far to one direction, tilting it to the other side. So, and I think that everybody does it differently. I love that. And I'm open to different ways to tilt the other direction. So what do you do? What do you do to tilt the other direction when you got to shift your focus? One of the words that I use a lot is paradigm shift. I'm always like, you got to do a paradigm shift. It means whatever's going on, you literally have to shift it in a completely different direction and look at things from a different perspective. You have to shift your focus. So what do you do? What do you do to shift your focus when it's just too much and it's just tilting one way too far and you're like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. It's too hard. It's making life difficult. What do you do to shift that focus? I tell you what I do is I meditate. I take walks. Honestly, I try really hard to look at things with a different perspective. That's why when I go walking and I take pictures of things, I like to take things. My sister taught me this a while back. You turn your camera on and then you turn it upside down so that your camera is on the ground. It's on so you're looking up at whatever. That gives you a different perspective. I know for me, like if I go outside, a lot of times I'll sit on the patio and I see the same trees and, you know, everything is the same. That's why I'm a real big fan of redoing my patio. I'll move things around, shift the plants, just for a different focus, you know, just a different view. It helps me shift my perspective on whatever. And then I also will go and sit in a different part of my backyard. And I will look at my yard and my life from a different perspective. You know, if things get too rough or whatever, I'll go back and then I'll say, okay, well, let me find the joy in this. Let me look what is, you know, what is standing out that brings me joy and happiness. And, you know, why am I focusing on that dead ficus over there when it's like that kind of thing. It's like, okay, well, I'll get rid of that or whatever. And so that's what I do. And so I'm always interested in like what other people do to help them get through life. So what do you do to shift your paradigm shift? What do you do to get a different perspective on life? Okay, I'm loving this. Loving it. Loving it. Okay, that looks so good. And you can see the progression. You got the music sheet. I love that. And you know what? I have some buttons, and I think it's okay to use buttons because I think everybody has buttons. If you don't have buttons, I have tons of buttons. I went to a thrift store years ago. Okay, I'm going to work on these tags, and then we're going to be done because I know that these little Scraps and Thoughts Thursdays can get kind of long. And so I noticed that a lot of people don't watch all the way to the end. And so they cut out around 11 or 12 minutes. And I'm like, oh, well, you know, so if you're still here and you're hanging in there with me, thank you. Thank you for staying and listening and crafting with me. And hopefully I've inspired you, you know, with something, maybe with some words of wisdom or maybe with this craft itself. But, you know, I do want to thank you because not everybody stays and hangs out. And that's okay. Everybody has, you know, their own thing that they're doing. And I appreciate that too. But I certainly do appreciate it when people stay. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see these words when I put it on, but I'm going to put the really busy one on this one. So I'll do that one. And then hopefully you won't be able to see. But if you do, guess what? It'll be fine. It will be just fine. Okay. And I'm trying to use scraps, and so I want to make sure this is going to be on the back. So I'm putting it on the front, and then we're going to cut them like tags, and then I'm going to put some grommets in, and then that way we'll have some little, I may just put some rickrack or something, or material of some sort. What do you think? What do you think? I think that has to go like that. Excuse me, I do need to take another drink. I apologize, but apparently I'm dehydrated. I don't know. Okay, let me put this on. It ends up being about an hour, and I know that's a lot, but I appreciate you coming and hanging out and spending some time with me. And I love spending time with you. I do. And I might not know you personally, But if you're a crafter, I think you're pretty amazing. Crafters are pretty amazing people. We see the world from a different perspective. We really do. And athletes see the world from a different perspective. You know, I mean, we're all so different, so. But anyway, I appreciate you coming and hanging out. But get out those, I really, you know, want to encourage you to find you some really awesome books. And I think that's part of the fun and the adventure is the hunt. The hunt for the really cool books when you go out and spending time to really look for, I know a lot of people go to Goodwill. I see them with one of those little readers off their phone. And I guess they're looking at SKU numbers, you know, the ISBN numbers or whatever, and to see whether or not they could sell. I really don't know. But they buy them and then they go resell them. And I'm like, okay. That's too much work for me, but okay. I mean, I don't know. I might. When I'm fully retired. I'm not fully retired yet, so. Okay, so this is the last one, I think. I love that text. Isn't that cool? Just his writing and to have it on here. I love it. And we don't need stickers or nothing. I'm going to see if this is the exact size. I don't think it is. Let me get my corner. I have a couple of them. Let me see if I have one that matches. So, because I want them all to match. No, that's not going to... I could take it and just... Oh, this one might. Well, not really. Okay, well, I may have to use this then. Because I want to... Okay. So now I'm going to pull this one over here and try my best because I have nails to hold it and then cut it without, and see my fingers are in the way. How do people do that? I just don't know. It seems so difficult to me. I don't like difficult. It's all right. And I kind of need to get them the right way or the same. So I'm going to put this one here and use that as a guide. Yes, I am, because that's what we do. I can do that more than I can hold one of that little bitty thing in my hand. And then I have to... Okay. These can go up. And then these need to be inked. Okay. Let's see what we have. I love that this is tearing. I love it. I love all of this. It's just, I love it. Okay. So, they're all the same but different. So, this one, I think this one goes down here. And this one goes up here. And I don't have to. You know what I really would love to put on here is some really pretty brads. And you know I have a whole brad collection. So let me pull that out. And let's see what we have, okay? And while I'm doing that, I'm going to stand up and see what time. Oh, we're already past an hour. Okay, well, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to keep you. We've been here for an hour and 4 minutes, but I've had a great time. You know what? And I think that even just with this whole balance thing, that finding calm moments and simple daily routines like this, crafting, morning coffee, short walk, are so important for our lives. And so I just thank you for coming and hanging out with me today and just, being a faithful watcher. I really appreciate that. But I do appreciate you hanging out with me. And please leave me a comment and let me know what you think about balance. What are some of your thoughts on that? Well, I will see you on Monday of next week. And remember, you only know what you know until you know something different. Bye-bye.